I love my big landing nets. I love them a lot, but all the nets that I have 3 of them, and they all have the same problem, and it's been bugging me for a while. Today I'm gonna fix it. So I've removed the handle here. This is a Ranger net, but I've got a couple of Drifter Marine brand nets too, but they're a little bit different, but they're all basically the same. This is the centerpiece. This is where the handle attaches, but where the problem lies is in here and here. These are the tubes that make up the hoop for the net. It's a hollow aluminum tubing, and the problem is when I'm catching a fish from the bank, I like to get the net ready while I'm fighting the fish, and I'll get the net and I'll get this end of the net laying out in the water with the handle sticking out of the water in my hand. And I've got the end of the net in the water, rod in the other hand, I'm fighting the fish, and that's how I net a fish by myself. The problem is when this end of the net sits in the water for more than a minute or two, water gets in between where this cap is in the tube and also where these screws are. These self-tapping screws are what holds the net hoop to this bracket here. Water seeps in there, and after a few minutes I've got a bunch of water inside this hollow tube of the net, and when I try to lift up the net to net a fish, I got rod in this hand, net in this hand, and I'm trying to lift up the net. It's heavy. It's difficult to lift up the net through the water because there's a bunch of water in this tube. So I'm gonna fix that today. So first thing I'm going to do, these are just plastic caps. My other Drifter Marine nets don't even have any caps, but I'm just going to go ahead and pry those off. Depending on what kind of net you have, there might be caps or not. Maybe it's just the hollow tubes on the end. But so I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to remove these 4 self-tapping screws. And what I'm going to use for this is just some goop, some amazing goop. This is the marine variety, but just whatever kind is probably fine. This doesn't need to be some kind of heavy duty adhesive or anything. I think silicone caulk would probably work just fine as well. I'm going to take the handle bracket off, pull these tubing ends out. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and take some of this marine goop and just glob some in the end there, just like so. And then to keep water from getting in from in between this bracket and the tube, I'm gonna put some more sealant, just a little bit, not a ton, into the bracket here, just to seal that edge, or that where the tube and the bracket slide together there. I gotta hurry up and get this put together before it starts to tack up. Now, yeah, it's true, because I'm using this sealant. If I ever need to get this hoop out of this bracket again, it might be really difficult, or maybe impossible. But I just can't foresee that happening. Just a little bit on the threads of each one of those screws. And I'm just going to go ahead and run those back down tight. And clean off the excess that squirted out around the edge there, or you could leave it on there. It doesn't matter how messy you want your net to look, I guess. So that should stop water coming in from where those screws are. Put down a little paper towel so I don't get a bunch of that stuff all over my bench. And you guessed it, I'm going to do the same thing with these plastic plugs. And if my other nets that don't have any plastic plugs, I'm just gonna put a nice big glob just inside the just the end of the tubing there, and just fill the end of the tubing with a glob of that sealant, and just let the skin over and dry. No style points for neatness here. I just want to make sure there's plenty of goop on there, so it's going to be sealed well. There we go. That's it. The ends are all sealed up. No water's gonna get in there, And as an added bonus, you know, since they are sealed up, that's going to be all air inside the hoop of that net, which is actually going to make it, you know, allow it to be, give it a little bit more buoyancy to lift up and net that big fish. Just a little net hack, make a little improvement in my fishing life. Hope you found that useful. Thanks for watching, I appreciate it. See you on the next one.